Hello. Welcome, everyone, to The Grind. How is everyone doing? I forgot what episode this was. Is it episode 9? Jeremy?
Yeah, I think we're on
Okay.
9. We just
Okay.
released
Well,
8
let's
last week,
pretend it's
so
episode 9. Maybe we had an extra episode in the middle. We didn't, guys. We didn't. I might sound a little different. I'm recording on my phone in my car. Don't worry about it. And also, I've been sick. Let's just say it's because I've been sick. That's what I've been up to since the last podcast, is basically dying of the flu. And I am never going to not get a flu shot because this was really stupid. And I'm literally like an anti-vaxxer by not getting that flu shot. I can't. So anyway, wow. I almost went down a really offensive line of statements there. And I'm just going to stop and say that I am going to get the flu shot next year because this was really awful and I've never felt worse than I have this last week.
I will say, while we're on the topic of the flu, my mom was engaged to a guy at one point who they both got the flu at the same time, and he actually ended up like getting pneumonia because of it and like passed away like 3 days later after we kind of thought they were all in the clear. So it was like really shocking.
Wow.
So yeah, get your flu vaccines, people.
He died from the flu. You actually know some. I'm a fool.
Yeah.
Did you get a flu shot?
I actually haven't gotten mine this year.
Wow, shameful. You know someone died of the flu.
Yes, I do.
And you didn't get your flu shot. Yeah,
This is true.
It's really dumb. I really definitely should have done it.
Yeah.
But I didn't, and it was awful. So that's me. But yes, hello everyone. How are you? How are you all? So what are we going to talk about this cast year? And you want to kind of go over
So
agenda?
there's quite a bit of stuff to cover, to be honest with you. So we teased the deep discussion on runes, what to keep, what to sell, and kind of your mind, like maybe a mindset approach and a practical approach on how to look at that and make a decision when the screen pops up asking what you want to do. So we've put in a lot of work, a lot of hours going over different math and I will say this: we've found some interesting things out. And we were talking about it before the cast, and there's a lot of stuff to be drawn as conclusions from a lot of this information, but unfortunately, it's not complete. So we are going to go over some stuff today, and it'll be a little more basic, and we will release the full information once I've actually been able to kind of put all the math together, and then talk about it with Keith so he can tell me why I'm wrong with my math, and then from there we'll have a more in-depth discussion on it. So sorry to everyone that was super psyched on that, but we will have it. It is coming. It was just a lot more work than I thought. I'll be honest with you. I've been doing this.
Yeah.
I've probably spent, and I don't have a ton of free time, guys, so keep that in mind. I've probably spent 12 to 15 hours on this in the last week, just trying to put it all together. And honestly, like the biggest hindrance to like some of that was also like Swore Farm still being down and not having the data logs available to pull a bunch of like the relevant rune information, drop rates, and all that info. So I've had to like kind of dig and find some of that information for myself. And so that
really unfortunate timing.
Yeah, that really did hurt in more ways than I imagined it would. But then we're also going to go over just some basic stuff. We've had a few ideas, suggestions in our Discord, and one of them was just kind of an idea to kind of go over some of the more basic parts of Summoner's War. So today we're going to talk about like your first big crowning achievement, your first big goal, the first thing you should really be able to pat yourself on the back for, and that is your starter GB10 team. So got a lot of good information, and Come To Us actually provided a lot of good content too for us this week with the new mons and the HOH and all that other stuff happening as well. So it should be good. But before we get into that, how has your Summoner's War been for the last week, Keith? How have things been going?
I mean, I've been in kind of I got sick probably Thursday, right? So a little bit just before. I think Thursday night was the first night I had a fever. So I got sick just before free rune removal, and my free rune removal was a disaster because of it. You and I tried to like sit down and chat about stuff during free rune removal. And this has been a weird sickness. Like I've been functional during the day and then like completely incapacitated at night. And like obviously that's changed. I've just been completely incapacitated entirely. But yeah, I ruined my RTA team, and then I ruined my Giants team, and then I de-ruined everything else, and I went to bed for a week. So it was really weird and bad, I guess, is how things have been. But I'm good now. Things are ruined. Things are happening. I summoned a new Nat 5. I summoned Alicia, right? The Water Polar Queen. She's good for situational things. There's a content creator, Foxy SW, who like does all kinds of crazy stuff. Like he uses free-to-play defenses and then gets G3 in Arena. And his offense is a Fat Lucian offense, which is like Alicia lead. And then I think he uses like Tion and Megan and Lucian, maybe I'm wrong. Check him out. But he uses Alicia, and it's because of her lead, which is like I think 44% attack in Arena, which is good and strong. And then also he uses Alicia because she has like the AoE cleanup potential that like he doesn't. So that's like the main place that I might see myself using Alicia. I know people can use her in like the Fire Rift. I know people use her as like a farmer. I'm probably not going to skill her up or build her that way, at least for a long time. But a Nat 5 is exciting, especially when it's not a dupe. And it counted toward my successful summons for the successful summon event. So that's cool, I guess. Well, do you have any thoughts about Alicia? Do you care at all?
I mean,
you didn't seem very jealous.
Yeah,
I think it's good. But you were like, "Yay!" And I was like, "Yeah, I kind of feel the same."
Yeah, I mean, you kind of said it. she's niche. She has uses, and she's really good at that one role. And I think the Arena lead is certainly something I would at least consider building her for. And when I say building, like I would certainly 6-star her.
Yeah.
Maybe not high priority, but at the same time, once you get to a point where like you're pushing Arena and rushing and doing all that other stuff that people do when they're not farming for, their towers or whatever, like when you're to that point, I think you're going to use Alicia. I think you'll probably end up actually building her for your fire team, whether you realize it or not.
I do too, honestly. But so, I think that, and it's a poisonous mindset, but I look at Alicia and I'm like, cool, this is great, and I've been looking her up, and I threw on her, whatever, doesn't matter. But I know the grass is greener on the other side. One of our guys, the Discord, has Brandia. Was like, I don't know if I need Brandia, but I think Brandia is sick. Like I've seen Brandia in R5, I've seen Brandia in raids. Rifts, whatever. Brandia can do really cool things too, like with like the nuking ability that Brandia has. And I was thinking like, would I have wanted Brandia more? It's like probably would have. And then obviously Tiana is like game changing. No other Nat 5 in the game does what Tiana does. So it would have been cool to get a different flavor of Polar Queen, but I'm not by any means upset about Alicia, and I know that's not how Nat 5s work. You get what you get. You get as many Rockies as the game on.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's a good way to look at it too, I think. But yeah, I think like honestly, you said it well. Like Brandia is, a better water KFG for raids. She can also be used in Rift, and I like a lot of Math Plus games. I think a lot of his videos feature Brandia just like stacking a bunch of debuffs when the boss is in its groggy state, and then just nuking the crap out of it with Brandia. So yeah, like I said, Alicia has her uses though. Obviously, Tiana's like
she does
king.
I mean, definitely. I remember looking at like these Foxy SW videos and being like, man, I don't have an Alicia. I'm never going to be this good. And now I have an Alicia. And I'm like, man, I'm never going to be this good. Like,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter whether you have the monster to this or that, and I think we'll get into that as we talk about runes more. It's actually insane how much runes make a difference about everything. Yeah. But otherwise, and I'll circle back to it actually. Just remind me, I did some RTA against dudes in our Discord, and I have a little bit of stuff to talk about RTA wise. But let's talk about you first. What's been new with you? Have you? Oh yeah, did I 6-star anything? That's my only other thought. I 6-starred Orion. That's what I did. I 6-starred Orion. I've been using him. I've been learning. He is not the beast I wanted him to be in RTA. He's scary, but he's random. And sometimes the RNG is in your favor. Sometimes the RNG is not. And if I want to have a consistent RTA team, I should probably not have one that's like, okay, my strategy is Orion is going to strip the will runes off of their Ciara, and then I'm going to nuke their Ciara down in the first turn, and I win. If that's my RTA strategy, I need a new one. So I've learned that too. But we'll talk about my RTA stuff in a little bit. But I did 6-star Orion. I think he's still a great monster. And you use him in Guild and a million other places. And I might throw him into RTA matches too when I fought. Let's go with that. I'm sorry if I'm mangling your name, but he hates Orion, and I picked him every match against him because I'm a troll. So if I know you hate Orion, I'll bring him. I will bring him to ruin your life.
And let's point out too, I hate Orion because I don't have will runes. I haven't farmed Necro, so I don't have that one little layer of protection yet. And his Orion outspeeds my immunity, which is actually my 6-star that I got this last week. I 6-starred, and now I want to say Alicia because that's who we were talking about, but it's not Alicia. It's Amelia, the water pony. And gosh, she's so strong. I mean, just like looking, and this is something that I know that I struggle with. I don't always see, I guess is the best way to put it. Like, I don't always see the full picture of, the puzzle. And so when I look at Alicia's skill set, like, I can tell that, like, she's very good.
Alicia or Amelia?
Sorry, Amelia. See, here we go again. Also, my brain's...
The water pony.
Yeah, my brain's fried.
Yes.
So anyway, so looking at Amelia's skill set, like I can tell that she's really good, but just looking at that, I didn't realize just how much she would positively affect my team. And it's been ridiculous, the effect that she made, even just, RTAing with you. Like, I think the team that I got closest with beating you with was Amelia, Chow, Felleria, and Chasoon. And it was working really well. I thought I was gonna have it. Honestly, at one point there was a time where I was like, I just need like one good thing to happen and I can win this match. I didn't win the match. I got close though.
Chow is my nemesis, dude. But okay, so you 6-starred Amelia.
Yeah, I did.
And you're finding that she's strong. What else? Is
I mean,
has much been going on, or?
Yeah, so we usually like to talk about some of the great stuff that's happened. I've had a few really lucky things happen this week. Actually, I pulled 2 6-star legendary slot 2 Swift runes. Both were attack percent, which is big. It was in the same day too, and I was like, right after I decided to go back to Giants because I was doing all of my homework for this, rune conversation that we're gonna have, and I was like, my Swift runes are terrible, all my runes are terrible. So anyway, I decided to go back to Giants, and then like I was instantly rewarded, so that was nice. I got those 2 runes. One of them actually triple rolled HP percent, which was reapped. Not that I don't have a place for it, but I reapped it, and I actually got some really good rolls from that too. I think it was like 15% crit rate and
Nice.
12,
Yeah.
12 speed, and another useful stat that I don't even remember, but maybe it was HP, and like 14% HP or something. So yeah, it was really nice. And then on top of that, I actually got four lightnings for this, summon successful event, which I was really excited about. They were all like organic, I guess. I didn't buy any packs or anything for that. I just was summoning the scrolls as I got them. I did get a legendary scroll from pieces, and so that helped a little. But yeah, so I got the fourth lightning, and I was like, looking at crystals, and I was like, all right, so I had 1,000. I was like, I can buy a premium pack, and it's a pretty good chance I get at least one lightning from a premium pack. And so that's what I told myself. So I bought this premium pack, and I got no lightning, right? Also not surprising, but yeah.
Yeah.
So then I sat and I was like, okay, well, gosh, we've got the React packs. That's what they're called. We've got the React pack event, or not event, but package on sale right now. So I was like, okay, sweet, React packs, they're good. That's worth it for sure. Buy the React pack. And then like I started thinking again, and I was like, not going to do it at first. My plan was not to buy another premium pack. But
of course,
I started thinking, I was like, I didn't have any lightnings from that one. And that tells me like odds are I should statistically get a lightning in a second premium pack, and then I get a new monster. Yeah, which is, it's not how it works. I mean, when you have a fixed chance of something, it's a fixed chance, no matter how you look at it. But statistically speaking, I should have gotten another lightning, and I did not. I did not get another lightning. So now, because of that, I know that I'm at roughly 30 scrolls without a lightning since that happened. It was a very sad moment. So I don't know if you consider that good luck, bad luck. It's luck in an extreme form, that's for sure. So
it is. I would say two things off of story. We created some extra channels on Discord, and the good and bad luck channel has been pretty popular. And this maybe would be where this story would exist.
Yeah.
But two, fucking come to us, man. Traditionally, I've been on their side in things that have happened, like with some stuff like Achievement Gate or whatever, and a few things. And I don't think I've come out and ragged on them yet, but I'm just going to give them a little scolding here, which is, can you guys fuck off with the Summon Successful event? Because it's literally the most bullshit event in the world. Like, it doesn't even include the TOA summons. Like, it ends 2 days before the TOA reset, and it's literally impossible for free-to-play players to complete. So, fuck you guys and your, hey, spend $150 to get a fucking new monster event. And I get it, like, it's a bonus event on top, and if people spend money, blah, 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 but it's like, can you fuck off with these kinds of events?
Yeah, and that's the thing
that's
too.
All I like. And then also, whatever. While I'm on the scolding train, damn you guys for this Hall of Heroes. you motherfuckers, dude. No one needs more Phantom Thieves. No one of any kind. No one needs skill ups for Phantom Thieves because they're useless. There isn't a single usable monster in the Phantom Thief family. Like, why? We don't need it. Okay, that's all.
Honestly,
good job. Come to us. We think you're doing great, but this was a step back. Thank you for the new monsters and the other things, but fuck off with this Summon Successful event and the fucking Phantom Thief dungeon. Like, that's just.
So, and here's the thing. This is the first time I think that I've actually truly been like gotcha'd by a gotcha game. Because if it wasn't for this event, I probably would have never even really bought the premium pack. I wouldn't have considered it.
Yeah.
And then I wouldn't have bought I might have bought the React pack, but the heart behind it would have been different. It'd have been like, okay, there is a React pack and they're useful, and I'm gonna spend money on the game anyway. So
the sad part is, like, there's free to play players out there who are being responsible for crystals. They're saving, they're doing these things, And an event like this can have like long-standing repercussions against someone's account. And what I mean by that is like someone could get tempted, they could buy the premium pack, whether they successful summon or not. It can't be good for player retention to have players blowing all their fucking crystals on a pay-to-win event. And I get it, it's but like, come on, like think about your players, right? Like if the free-to-play player blows all their crystals and they can't farm, they're not going to log in and they're going to forget about the game and they're going to take a month off. Like that's I don't know. It just doesn't feel like the gains actually outweigh the loss here, and it's sad and depressing and annoying. And it's like one of those events that's like genuinely frustrating for you know what I mean. The reason I was attracted to Summoner's War, and I still am, is because Calm to Us gives us so much free stuff. The ability to play constantly exists, but when the ability to complete an event in the game requires you to blow more crystals than you get in a month, $150 worth of crystals on average, it really does detract from the overall niceness of the game. And the vast majority of updates since I've started playing have added to the niceness of the game. And I think that this was just a little bonus event on top of like other events happening, blah, blah, blah. But, the fact that the fact it doesn't include the Toa summons, and the fact that if it was a month-long event, hell yeah. You know what I mean? Like, give people a much better chance of doing it. But it's just such a short event with such a I don't know. And even at this point, like even if tomorrow Come to Us, is like, hey, we extended it by 2 weeks, like everyone's already blown their crystals,
Right.
Everyone who's going to get devastated by this event is already devastated by it.
Right.
So we'll see what happens. But
well, and you talk about expanding on it. So here's something. I was actually watching Jew Bagel over the weekend, and he did his Saturday morning summons video, and one of the viewers was like, oh, they extended the event, and then he's like, no, they didn't. And so he goes to look at the event, like in game, went through the event page or whatever, and clicked on it. And I actually ran this one myself, so I don't know if it's still doing it, but I did it then. So when he pulled the event up, what happened at that point was it flashed the date of, I think it was February 26th is when the event went in instead of the 12th. And he was like, oh, okay, that's great. And then it like changed. It said 26th, and then immediately went back down to the 12th. So I was like, well, let me see if mine does that. And it did. I repeated it, saw it with my own eyes. So that is another thing to consider. They might extend the event, but in the chance that happens, I think that if they had always planned on extending the event and coming out with something like, oh, we realized people didn't have enough time to get it or whatever, just the fact that changed tells me that they probably do plan on extending it. And if they do that, to me, it's like even worse than having the event in the first place, because what they did was they got a cash grab out of it, and then they extended it to make it look like they were sorry for not doing that in the first place. That kind of deal.
It's like a planned cash grab apology, which is, I don't think they're clever enough to do that. I don't think they're trying to, the game is manipulative enough, I don't think they're trying to do that. Like people, it's conspiracy theory-esque, but yeah, that does seem odd. I know it's not a conspiracy theory since you've seen that, but I don't know what their thoughts are on that, but I don't think we need to dwell too much. I don't think we need to this is
right.
This isn't the Conquest roast or anything. It's
right.
just,
well, I did want to at least mention,
get it together.
Yeah, you guys can check it for yourselves too. If you click on the event, look at the date at the top, it'll be the first little thing. See if it happens to you. Let us know kind of what happened there. I'd be curious. But yeah, so I guess we'll transition into HOH, because we did kind of touch on that a little bit. Actually, really quick. Oh yeah, go ahead.
Let me talk about my RTAs. Really
oh,
fast.
Sorry. Yeah. I forgot you wanted to come back to that. So
I did want to come back to that. So yeah, it was so basically I fought a few dudes in our Discord. I think Corton. I'm gonna keep saying it Corton. That's not how I say your name, dude. Tell me. I don't know. Record yourself saying your own name. I fought Corton first, and he's hit C1 on Europe, but his PvP monsters were heavily de-runed, and I beat him, I think, 4 out of 5 times. That's not what this story is necessarily about, but I beat him up a little bit, and it was interesting because he'd hit C1, and I was thinking about that, and it gave me a little bit of insight to, like, okay, so like he hit C1, but that was when he put all his runes on his, RTA monsters, and if he doesn't, then I can potentially beat him. And it made me think about disparities between like EU and global and a bunch of different stuff like that. And even so, like he was able to give me some nice, interesting feedback. But then around 10 o'clock, like 10 p.m. my time last night, roughly, Zero. That's all I've got. Zero kaput. Zero zilch kaput. There we go. Was talking to, I think, like Galtdin and Corton, whatever. Doesn't matter. If you guys aren't in our Discord, you're missing out. These guys are great guys. But anyway, they're all talking. But basically, they're like, hey, we want to fight you again. We want to, hey, I'm Zero is C3 is what he is, and he immediately destroyed me, maybe 6 times. And then each time he had like a little bit of like interesting feedback, and we talked about it. And there were a few things that I learned, which I should have known already, but it was really, really it was really helpful. So my takeaways basically were, I wasn't banning monsters based on like using my brain during the draft. I was banning monsters based on what I was afraid of. So like if I saw an Amelia, I banned it. Like it didn't matter. I was just afraid of it. Or in his case, I was afraid of Elsharion, right? And I would see Elsharion and I'd be like, Elsharion hard counters my Wusa. And then I would ban the Elsharion and I would let like other strategies. And he was saying like, don't just blanket ban Elsharion every time you see him. Think about the team. Like there was a time where I could have banned his Fran, and I didn't. I banned Elsharion. If I banned his Fran, I'd have been able to control him with Jean the entire match because he had single immunity, and I didn't. So that's like like the TLDR of that takeaway. And then after I fought him a few times, and we talked about my rune quality and my picks, and a couple more specific things to me. But the main thing is my pick ban phase. I need to pick based on what is strong against what I'm fighting, which I'm better at doing than I was at the banning part, and I need to ban what is a cohesive part of their strategy, not what I'm afraid of. I don't like in my head I had it, I can't deal with Amelia. I can't deal with Elsharion. And that's actually not the case. I can deal with either of those if their team is neutered by me banning something else on it.
Right. And I think like a great example of that, just to like boil it down to basics, is if you see a team and you're fighting an RTA, and you'll probably only see this in very low level, if that, but if someone only picks one damage dealer, like one like, true to form damage dealer, not someone that might be like a bruiser or whatever, but like if they have just like a bunch of supports with like clearly no damage, you're not gonna like let their damage dealer through, right? Even if the rest of their units are all like super scary, nat 5s or whatever, like you're gonna ban the damage dealer.
Well, theoretically, side note on that, which is funny, is the team I ended up settling on after talking to Zero about it, and everyone has only one DPS on it. But if they ban the DPS, they're in a really, really bad way, because they're just basically in for being perma-CC'd
right.
and beat down for like 20 minutes with my Jean like slowly pummeling whatever they have to death. And Zero was like, there's no way they're going to ban your damage. And I think I played 20 matches with that sense, and twice someone has banned my damage, and I won both of those matches, but it was a really long, painful match. For everyone involved. But yes, agreed. Like if there, and that's the thing, is if you have it and I thought I understood it, but it's basically like, if you have it in your head that a certain monster you can't deal with, right? Like people are afraid of Yana, afraid of Molong, afraid of Ragdoll, right? or Artemel or LND Nat 5s in general, right? It's not that. You have to still look and assess their team and figure out the weak point of their team and then ban the weak point of their team. It doesn't mean every time someone picks a Ragdoll, you have to ban Ragdoll. It doesn't mean, in my case, every time I saw an Elsharion, I need to ban an Elsharion. That's not how banning should be looked at. And it was like fundamentally like, sure, maybe Elsharion is the weak point of their team. Like without him, they can't strip, they can't armor break, etc. But unless that's the actual case, I shouldn't be just seeing an Elsharion and banning it, And that was like a fundamental, maybe the same actions would be happening, but a fundamental, change in the way I was evaluating teams and banning and playing against them. And then the other thing, I had a few matches against Galpton before, like he went to work or something. It was like on the train, and twice in a row, I let him get Kiana and Jean through, and I should have banned Jean both of these times. And both times, the second it happened, I was like, "Why am I so dumb?" And like literally everyone watching the fights were like, "Why are you so dumb?"
Yep.
And I couldn't learn. But it was the same concept, right? Like if I had banned his Jean, then who cares what he does to me after Tiana strips? Because he didn't have any way to control me or to deal with me. Was the thing there. And I wasn't, again, my banning, my pick ban, I was losing most of my matches in the pick ban phase. My play in the match was relatively okay. My runes and my units are pretty okay, and I was losing that way. So to sum this up, I went to bed and I was at like 1166 with like Fighter 2 or something. And then I woke up this morning and I did, I don't know, maybe 20 wings. And I've lost a few cents, but I started using this core team. I started, taking this to heart, and I immediately jumped up to like 1300, 1350. And then I lost some and I won some, and I don't know where I'm at right now. But the point is, I think where my score after just like literally changing nothing, but like literally changing nothing except my pick ban phase, I jumped up from, I basically jumped 200 points in my RTA score.
That's interesting.
And I think that's I think it's really interesting because I didn't re-rune anything. The only other feedback like specific to me was like, start picking Ganny because he's strong and you're stupid.
Yeah.
And it actually made sense because you don't pick Ganny into double immunity, but if you pick double immunity and I'm picking Jean anyway, and my strategy is to ban their immunity, and I'm picking two very strong immunity units, you know what I mean? Like there's only a certain amount, like a certain pool of immunity, and if they go too hard in immunity, I'm not picking Ganny, I'm not picking Jean anyway. But Ganny's so versatile, and it gives more threats for them to be like, holy crap, am I afraid of Ganny? Am I afraid of Wusa? Am I afraid of, you know what I mean? Am I afraid of Jean? Like it gives them more people to be afraid of. And I'm probably going to re-rune my Ganny because I ruined him like 10th, and I'm probably going to re-rune him like a bit higher priority. But moral of the story was changed one new monster that I was taking a little bit more. And I mean, literally pick and ban phase. That's all that changed. I didn't change the runes on my units. I didn't change anything other than the pick and ban phase. And, I would say my average RTA score right now has probably jumped up 200 points. I'm still not going to be cracking into C1 anytime soon, I don't think. I was a little off base thinking that I might be able to do that. But since I honestly thought C1 was 1300.
Well, and now that we're talking about it, I think I might be like backwards on how it works. But you hit like C3 first, right? And then you go down to 2, and then to 1, or is it backwards? Okay, so it's backwards.
Yeah, it's the same way as like fighter, right? So like one. Okay. I mean, think about it. You like when you're climbing an arena, it's the same way, right? You get one. You go from 3 bronze stars to 1 silver star to 2 silver stars.
I hadn't paid enough attention to it. I'll be completely honest. I focus on the score because I want to stay above 1200, and like I want to get my four whatever they're called, guild point or not arena points, whatever.
1200's fighter 1 is where you're at. That's where the silver stars start. Okay, and then and in my head, 1200 in RTA is fighter 3. It's just automatic fighter 3 if you're 1200. But then that's where it becomes a range, or maybe it's like just 1450 or something. It's close to 1500. I fought a few C1 guys. I threw a C1 match today because I'm stupid. When I was in like 1350, and I fought a guy who was, I don't know, 1470 or something. Screw you, matchmaking. And I threw the match. Like I looked away. I don't know what happened. Honestly, I think you messaged me on Discord, and I looked at Discord and I was like reading your message, and I looked down, and they had the Dark Hell Lady, and they revived Garo. And I was like, and I couldn't, like, my turn timed out. Like I was going to kill the Hell Lady, and I didn't, and I like autoed into Molong or something, and then they revived Garo and like one shot my Ganny, and I was like, I just threw this fucking match. Like I am trash, but I would have beat them. So it's more of a, you know, a spiritual victory for me, knowing that I could
have. A moral victory.
Yeah, you know. But yes, so that's it. That's all. That's all I wanted to talk about the RTA stuff. There's a lot more I could add, but it was really like some. I mean, I don't want to demean it by calling it light coaching, but I'll just say light coaching from dudes in our Discord, and it was able to like completely transform how I was feeling about my matches, and put me at a place where I felt like I should be for my rune quality, right? Like maybe I can't be in C1, but I can threaten some C1 dudes, and I can push up there, and I can have interesting matches in the 13 to 1400 range instead of the you know, ooh, look at me, I'm poking around the 1200 range. Like that didn't feel right for the priority I'd put on my runes. And maybe with more experience, because that's the thing obviously I was lacking too, is experience. With more experience and fighting more people around my level, maybe I can adjust and get better. Maybe I'll get a little worse, you know, who knows? But it feels a lot better after that. And I'm sure I'm going to lose a bunch of matches in a row, and I'm going to tilt and this and that, but like knowing that I can take advice to heart, sleep on it. I had RTA nightmares. I basically was just constantly dreaming about getting S3'd by Orion all night, which is hilarious. But like it was like it would be like my team, and I'd be feeling all this stress, and then like the S3 would go off, and I'd be like, oh no, who's getting stunned? And like somehow he's stunning everyone and it's stripping everyone on my team. And then he's just like violenting and S3ing again, and I'm like, what's happening? Like I literally, that was like 8 hours of that, and then I woke up and immediately like jumped into RTA. So
it sounds like you had a dream that like Orion somehow became like the old Molong, and
yeah, I would basically Orion. Unit. I mean, the old I mean like this Orion was, but it was the nightmare. It was like. But yeah, I literally had RTA nightmares, and then woke up and did that. But it was great, honestly. I learned a ton, and I really appreciate you guys. If you're listening to this, I really appreciate you guys, because it helped a ton. But it was just like these basic things, like, and I think that at the end of the day, if I could boil everything down into one piece of advice, it's even if you think you know what you're supposed to be doing, like if you think you know what's supposed to happen in pick and ban phase, you think you know what you're supposed to target and focus, like reevaluate that, like. Don't be banning because you've decided that something is bad for you. Don't be focusing something because you've decided that's what you have to nuke. Like, make a decision. Don't act on a habit that you formed, because, you know, because if you do, you're going to be, you know, like 20% worse.
Yeah, I mean,
it could be without changing anything.
That's interesting. So. Yeah, for sure. Well, I have also dipped my toes into the RTA a little bit. I was having a lot of fun. You know, a lot of people ban Amelia just like outright with the team that I was running, which is pretty much what I had used against Keith, plus Bella every now and then. A lot of people are surprised when they hear that too, but like, don't sleep on Bella. Okay. She's super strong.
I was thinking about Bella the other day in your team, man. Like, I was like, oh, you need an armor break. Boom, Bella has it. I was like, oh, you need a strip. Boom, Bella has it. I was like, you need sustain. Boom, Bella has it. Like, okay, all right, Bella, all right, I get it. Okay, I understand you're a placeholder for a more cohesive team in the future, but I mean, Bella had literally got everything you needed. The other day when we were fighting.
And it's really nice. Yeah, she fit really well, and that's the thing too, right? Like, I just don't have a ton built for PvP yet, so. You know, a few things on the horizon. I'm probably going to 6-star Bulwark next. and then Elsharion, and then probably Fran after that. Just looking at like kind of what my team needs. Without immunity, it's just really difficult.
My only recommendation would be that you do Fran first, because skill up. That'd be my only recommendation. Like, if you can fully skill a monster like Fran, easily, I would 6-star it before. You know,
that's fair.
Like, and Fran is over fucking powered. And that was the other thing is fighting Zero. His core team was very similar to like his Tessa and his Fran, like his top ruined monsters, and it was very, very contested between the two of us. You know, so like he would take my Fran, and I'd be like, well, there goes my whole team. And that's the thing right now with my box and the monsters I have ruined. I can't do very well if I get counterpicked, like if they pick my own monsters against me. But Fran being a free-to-play option, like, she is so strong, and I think she'd be very, very good for you, you know?
Yeah, and I agree. Like, just seeing how much immunity makes a difference. But I will say, like, having Felleria there, the Felleria, for you guys that don't know, Felleria is the Dark Dryad. The Light Dryad. It was my first L&D Lightning playing the game, and I love her. She's great for raids. And basically, so she has a 3-turn cleanse on her S2 and then a passive that gives a shield that's like 10% of her max HP if nobody has a to anyone who doesn't have a debuff on my team. So anyone who doesn't, isn't stunned, isn't defense broken, isn't anything, like they're fully cleansed already, they get a shield every turn of hers. And then if they have any debuff, she heals them for 10% of her max HP. It does like 10% when I was initially like starting to use her. I was like, that just doesn't feel like a lot, but that little bit of sustain from the shield and from the heal, like it really does add up very quickly. And that's why I'm like really excited for Bolveric too. So, if I can get Amelia and Felleria through
all those shields, all that immunity, Bolveric's going off every turn.
Yeah, so I'm really excited about that combo. So, and like ideally, my team, if I could get 4 through, would be Elsharion, Bolveric, Felleria, and Amelia. Like, to me, that would be ideal. And like Elsharion would be there to finish stuff off. That Bolveric, is setting up, and I'm stripping, I'm stealing buffs, and powering up Bolveric all the time. So
that team seems so insane.
Yeah,
if you can focus the and those aren't likely to be counterpicked, right? Like you'd probably, I'm thinking about that. I think it'd be really strong, super strong. I can't wait for you to get that team off the ground.
Yeah, so that's
that's
Fran
the plan. Would fit in there very nicely too, in my opinion. Like
I do agree with that. I think especially when I'm getting counterpicked, or I can tell that their plan is going to be to ban immunity, depending on their picks. Like I don't know how I would do it all yet, but I could throw Fran in there amongst some other stuff and have a cohesive team with Amelia banned still.
I'd build like a Fran and a Chilling too, or something like that, and you could. Because I'm thinking about this, man. Like Bolveric literally would be going off every turn, right? Mm-hmm. Like your Felleria, every turn Bolveric moves, he'd be able to nuke for 50%, and then he'd have like a Chilling or an Elsharion or whatever, like just like poking through whatever layers of defense they had, like and finishing off whatever needed to be finished off.
That really sounds insane. Great. So the one thing, like Chilling, when he steals buffs, he doesn't actually give Bolveric counter.
I was more just thinking like
as a strip nuke type deal.
Yeah, like some kind of mitigation, right? Because you're not really gonna have strip or anything. I mean, whatever. We're getting ahead of it. But basically, if Bolveric goes 2 turns, right? If he does 2 50% nukes or whatever, they're at like 1 health, and you just need someone to finish them off. But if they had like a shield or a whatever, I guess a shield is the only thing that they would have. I don't know. Whatever. We've gotten way bogged down.
Basically. So anyway, past all that, it's gonna be fun. It's exciting. I'm gonna be doing a lot of fun stuff with that here soon. But we've still got a few other things to cover, and this has actually gone on a lot longer than we anticipated. I hope you guys don't mind. It seems like we're gonna have a long cast, but yeah, so we've got the HOH, which we've already touched on. So Phantom Thieves are pretty much useless everywhere.
Yep.
A lot of people.
Other one has niche use, and that's it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, a lot of people mention, they built him very early in the game on occasion as like trying to get into, Giants 10 with another damage dealer. And that was like his only use. And even then, a lot of those people, and I think you're included in that, aren't you, Keith? You did the same thing. A lot of those people seem to regret that decision, even if he did have like a small amount of usage.
I 5-starred mine.
Oh, okay.
Here, I'll tell you my experience with mine. No, I 5-starred mine, and I skilled him up with other random Phantom Thieves, and he was so underwhelming. I fed him. I fed him to 6-star, like 4 months ago.
That's
like,
actually that's great. Yeah,
I just couldn't comprehend using him ever for anything ever. And I was like, if you like, and I have more. Like I still have every freaking Phantom Thief except the dark one, chilling.
Yeah,
I don't care.
I
don't
mean,
care at all.
My thoughts.
I don't know if we need to focus on him at all. But
beyond
what we just said, like he's trash. He's garbage.
Family.
If you're considering him as your DD, don't like fuse an Orang or whatever, and you boom, immediately better. There's fusible wind options that are better. Wind vampire's fucking better. Everything is better.
Well, and the one takeaway that I think people could actually use him for is in the craft building. There's a section where you can like craft legendary stones or whatever, and they require 4-star fodder. And this seems like free 4-star fodder to craft legendary scroll pieces.
Just need to like evolve a 4-star rainbow mon from the guild shop. Yeah,
that too. That's a great use. So point is, they have their uses, and like we're getting free 4 stars, and you like I said, you can make the pieces with the 4-star monsters. I think personally that it would be hilarious for someone to do that and then summon a Wind Phantom Thief with their legendary scroll.
Oh man, yeah. You only get 15 pieces too, man. It's just he's a nightmare. It's a nightmare. Don't waste your time. Throw him in storage if you're worried.
So
and never touch him again.
I do want to say this: we have been getting great content for consistently, in my opinion, for the last 6 months. I mean, great events, great HOH, all kinds of really good stuff, and a lot of people, like on Reddit, are talking about like, oh, here's the old come to us back again. And I think it's so funny because during all of these great events, a lot of those people were complaining, maybe not the exact same people, but you saw a lot of complaints about it. Now here, front page, it's like, oh, here's the old come to us, give them a bunch of great HOHs and then win Phantom Thief, whatever. Like, it's free.
I don't think it's indicative of like them reverting. I think that as content creators, we're allowed to be critical when they do dumb things, and we're also but there's so much hyperbole on Reddit. There's so many just like, oh, screw them and this and that, and like, there's going to be someone, no matter what the change is, positive or negative, there's going to be someone out there complaining about it. But I'm always going to give my honest opinion, and I agree. I think Come to Us has been great, but I think that this event and this HOH have not been great, and but that being said, it's like they come on the back of like some new Nat 4s and some other. So it's like, if I had to sum up this month of like updates from Com to Us, like they're like 50-50. You know what I mean? They're like right in the center for me. So it's like even on the back of this, bad HOH and this other stuff, like I can keep things in perspective, and I think that's something people have a hard time doing, especially on Reddit. I think people are very short-sighted and have a hard time keeping things in perspective. But I also think that's just a vocal minority. I think the majority of people on Reddit, like if you look at like upvotes and downvotes and how that's all looking, like there's a sorry, my voice is disappearing. There's a million people on Reddit who don't post anything. But you know what I mean? Like there's vocal minorities who complain about everything, and there's also some people who like trudge through that and like type awesome good posts, and then you look at that and like those are what are, those are what's at the top of a thread. Like there's a crying post from someone, and then the thing that's uploaded in there is like the words of wisdom. So I wouldn't even generalize the people on like the Summoners Reddit as like, negative. I would just say that there's always going to be people complaining, and even if it's a small percentage, no matter what happens, there's going to be people complaining. But the majority of people can like see things for what they are. Like, hey, this HOH sucks. Like, we'd be super dumb to not think that this HOH was shit. Everyone knows that this is the worst HOH. And everyone knew it was going to be the worst HOH option in that like HOH evaluation thread. Like, but that's the point. I don't think it's like indicative of anything larger. And I think that most people are able to see that. But obviously, the one guy who can't see that is going to be making that Reddit thread or commenting in every freaking Reddit thread possible, being like, "Welcome back, old com to us." Like, and it's like, great, cool.
Well,
cool
and we
guy, good on you.
We get Fire next month. Is that right? No,
yep.
Not that I'm like looking ahead or anything, but
I'm ready for the Fire fan. Okay, sorry.
Oh, okay, yeah. So maybe we'll get Maruna instead. Who knows? But anyway, yeah. So we've got a crap HOH. It's cool. It's not the end of the world. Come to Us has still been really good to us. We've got awesome new monsters too, which we're going to talk about as well. So they've been doing a lot of really cool stuff. Now with the new monsters, like I don't have one. Keith, have you summoned one yet?
I haven't. Quick side note though. Do we
want
to? No, it's fine. Like how far in are we? What, 50 plus minutes already?
Yeah, we're at 51. I think we just hop on this real quick and call it a day.
That's what I was gonna say. I think we're gonna push the runes and the beginner strengths team to the next cast because we had too much to say, mostly about the crappy HOH, and also me a lot about RTA and ruining things. But as long as you're fine with that, I just wanted to make sure you were fine with that and give everyone a heads up that
absolutely cool with it.
I think my computer literally breaks anytime I try and render something over. So, excellent. Okay, then new monsters, man. I don't have it yet, to answer your question. There we go. That was the answer you were looking for. I have pretty good feelings about them. What are your feelings? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen like a lot of stuff on Reddit, and this was something we kind of touched on too, right? It's like neither one of us have these units, but we've both read quite a bit. I don't know about you. I've seen, like, I watched Jubakel's Saturday Summons video and he talked about it. So I've definitely heard a lot, and you said something that actually was, I just like the way you said it. Let's just go with that. You said, if you're not familiar with something or you don't know how you feel about it, like you can find that information on the internet. So there's a lot of good stuff out there. The consensus we'll talk about the snipers first. The consensus for like the snipers seems to be that water and fire are pretty decent, and wind is neither here nor there, and the light one is super strong. The light one is very interesting. I do want to like touch on him for sure because he's got
because I'm not familiar.
So his passive is he gains attack bar. He gains 25% of his attack bar every time the enemy gains a beneficial effect from a skill.
Yeah, which is absolutely insane.
Yes, and that is a direct counter to my Filaria, Amelia, Elsharion, Bulveric, RTA team. Like, well, he would have to have like a core built around that team.
Does he have? Okay, that's his passive. Does he have the strip? Does he have the stance?
Yes, so he has the strip, the suppressive fire S2. Removes all beneficial effects, 70% chance unskilled, and then damage increases according to the number of beneficial effects removed. S1 ignores all damage reduction effects. So I think that
he could mess up your for sure.
Yeah,
but
so
that's
like
actually kind of cool.
The shield doesn't matter, the defense buff doesn't matter, like none of that matters. Like he's gonna do his damage, right? So
and
he is
he's
very
gonna
strong.
turn cycle pretty hard,
Yes, very,
and
very.
he's gonna be stripping things, and he's gonna be. It's like you buff, he automatically chooses who he wants to strip. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, it's cool. I don't know how you build him. I don't know how their base stats stack up. Like what their HP is at 40. I know I should probably know that. But I think at the very least they're interesting. I think the fact that they come with a strip means that they're usable in a lot of places. You know, RTA isn't the only place. Like there's Guild War and there's Arena. You know, Guild Siege and all of that. I think they're very usable. I think they have very meta relevant skill sets, and I think that we could see some really insane things from some of them. But at the very least, they're like interesting new monsters that we're waiting to see good things from. You know,
Yeah.
I'm hyped about it. They're not, and I'm not to throw shade, but they're not like the Dryads. You know, like were you ever hyped about Dryads? I was kind of hyped about Oblivion from the, and I know you have Falaria, and I know you're hyped
Yeah.
on Falaria, but like, where's the Wind or Fire Dryad? Right? Like, I honestly don't even know what they do or who they are. We're getting Fire Dryad next HOH, man. That's what we're getting.
Is that it? I
Probably,
think everyone said like Wind is the worst one and like expected to get the Wind one this month too. I know she was like heavily talked about. The Fire one is actually kind of decent. AoE block beneficial effects S3, and then
okay, yeah, all right. I know people use the same kind of thing.
Yeah, and then you know has a cleanse S3 or S2 rather, 3-turn cleanse. So like
yeah, well, but the point is they sound exciting. They sound like the snipers seem cool in my opinion.
Yeah,
and they have interesting effects. They have like this like kind of charge up like Skogul-esque like, hey, don't do anything till your next turn move. You know, they've got, you know, some new mechanics, some new this, some new that. Fire one defense breaks for himself. You know, there's some cool stuff with them.
I agree. And I'm actually glad you said that because you talk about Skogul, and it is very much like Skogul in the sense that like, you know, you're powering up basically. It reminds me honestly of the move, and you can teach it to a bunch of different Pokemon. This is Pokemon reference, but the move Bide. You could basically that's what it was. You know, you take a turn, or maybe it was even like 2 turns, and then you hit really hard after. But like it's the same concept, right? Like you're just putting off doing damage for 1 turn to do more on 2. And
yeah, well, it's like an Alpha Strike, you know, which is you know, like overall DPS is going down theoretically, but doing a lot of damage in 1 turn is oftentimes better than doing half that damage in 2 consecutive turns.
Yeah, so, and it's just an interesting.
It opens up interesting. Yeah, it opens up interesting possibilities, and I really like that. And I like the the new mechanics coming out of these new monsters. So Cannon Girls, and then I think we should definitely. Definitely conclude because my phone is going to die. It's dark. Like,
I understand.
You know.
Yeah, so
but yes.
I've seen a little less hype for the Cannon Girls. Maybe because you know, like there's 2 of them that are Nat 5s, and
yeah, they're a little less accessible.
Less accessible, yeah. But
any whale out there can automatically have, but a Cannon Girl has to be acquired by true whaling. So
the water one definitely seems interesting. So you know, she's got the dungeon leader skill, increases attack power for 38% of all your allies, and also has like a 8-shot S2 to just like tear through Necro shields. Also has, you know, a strip, which is very interesting and decreases the enemy attack bar by 50%. So, wow, I actually didn't even realize.
She has attack bar control. She has a strip. All the Cannon Girls I think are cool. I know we really focused on that water one, in over our heads, deciding if she could replace Lucian as a lead in a Necro team, which I think she could, or at least be potentially as good, like with her stuff and things. But yeah, like that strip and then attack bar reduction, like she's viable in a bunch of places, and that's something I like. Is like a monster that, hey, it might shine in Necro or it might shine in this place, but it can be used in all these other places. And I think their kits all have that kind of like multi-hit. You know, I mean, they have like the Gatling cannon gun.
Yeah.
You know, they have these multi-hit, you know, skills, and the Nat 5 ones. You know, I mean, controversial name Bella, right, on the dark one. We all know who Bella truly is, but I don't think anyone must summon Bella, so who cares? But yeah, I mean, in the wind one has some interesting, like some strong, interesting stuff, like some AoE, and it's just they're not. I don't think that they are bad. I think that there have been some underwhelming new monsters. You might have one in your storage. Some underwhelming new Nat 5s and Nat 4s, but these are definitely not, in my opinion. And I know that like there's still some disparity between the family, and it's not perfectly balanced. And that's how it should be. You know, some should technically be food and this and that. But I mean, I'm pretty excited about them. I'd like to see how they come into the meta and where they come into the meta. But that's the nice thing is like legitimately, I feel like tomorrow a video could come out about druids, which came out forever ago. About like, I mean, I'm starting to see videos about the fire druid cleaving and things like that, and it's like it's taken this long for people to start really truly experimenting and coming out with like the really interesting ways to use these new monsters. So
yeah. And now that we have the test feature too, sorry, we didn't even get to really talk about that. But now that we have the test feature, like I think we're going to see a lot of different meta kind of coming out because people can dedicate the time to do it now on their own. They don't have to have someone to do it with. So
yeah, you can literally like test monsters and stats, this and that, kind of all on your own, and it's nice. I mean, it's really nice. Like there's a lot of like I mean, yeah, there's a ton of positive for this patch, like with these new monsters, like the testing feature, and I mean that's really made me realize that I suck even more, like than I already did. I'm even worse than I thought I was, and I very low opinion of myself.
Well, just my final thoughts, kind of too. Well, and I say final. It's with the water, the dark. I mean, really, with all of them, they're huge on multi hits, right? Just looking at the water one in particular because of her element, she's going to be great, I think, for Nat 4 towers where we see like like Garrow centered defenses, because she's going to be able to chew through a Garrow ideally. So I think that's also an interesting thing to consider too, is how they'll be used in guild siege, defense and offense. And I think the Abigail's going to be a great counter to Garrow-centered defenses for sure. Yeah. And also Leica too. You know, Leica also has a very similar effect where multi-hits are more effective. And I think we'll see a lot of counterplay with that now that these monsters exist. So
yeah, I think they have a great place. I'm excited. I don't have any personal experience with them yet, and I have a hard time like heavily theory crafting something that I might not get for a year, since it took me 500 days to get Galleon. You know, I'm not going to theory craft for an Nat 4 and then wait 500 days to get it. But I'm going to keep my eyes out, and if I see more interesting things happening, obviously I'm going to talk about it. And if I get anything, if I ever summon successful this event, then I'll get some kind of sniper, and I genuinely hope it's the water one. But I will take any, and cry when I get the wind one, and ruined my whole life. We'll talk about that next podcast. But yeah, I think they're good, and I think that man, we have an infinite amount of stuff to talk about. We have our Discord has like a suggestions channel. We were going to get to beginner GB10 teams. We're going to talk about the runes, which I know is going to be the majority of the next episode. But maybe we can cover both of those like immediately. You know, talk about beginner GB10, and then go straight into the other opposite end of extreme rune math and brain melting.
Yes,
that sounds pretty chill. But my final thoughts, like literally, final. Why are you saying this so much? You know, thank you guys all for listening. And sorry this episode was a little bit late, but we're doing our best to do weekly. I've just been sick, and join our Discord and comment, hit us up, man. Like, circle back, dude. Let us know, like, on Reddit or in comments on YouTube, whatever. Like, if you have a thought, hit us up. Like, we're happy to, have a conversation. We're happy to, like, continue the discussion. There's a million things we could have said tonight that we didn't, and we still have thoughts about these. And, like, as soon as people start hearing this in the next 24 hours, like, if you listen to this cast and you start thinking things, you start thinking how dumb we are, you start thinking, hey, I like that thought, whatever, you can literally hop in Discord and bet that people will probably be talking about similar stuff,
Yeah, absolutely.
So, like, I'm going to always keep pushing Discord because it's, like, the most rewarding piece of this whole thing. But hit us up literally anywhere, communicate, reach out. We really appreciate everyone taking the time to listen to us and supporting us. And I hope that you guys enjoy this episode, and it should be probably less than a week, probably for the next one, Monday or Tuesday. So
yeah, absolutely.
That's it for me.
And please, I'm just gonna mirror his own thoughts there. Like, I really do enjoy the Discord. I woke up for the first time the other day and I was like, all right, time to catch up on Discord now. And for the first time, I couldn't actually do that. There was like 1,000 some odd messages, and I just wasn't gonna do that to myself. But very engaging community, and it's been great. All of you guys that have joined, thank you so much. We really do enjoy being able to, like, chat with you guys, give advice, and also take advice. And community team too, you guys gave us a shout out. You should be in the Discord. Come hang out.
Yeah,
it'll be fun.
Yeah,
watch them probably already be in there, just like not under an official capacity. They're just like chilling in our Discord and listening to how much shit we talk about the game. Anyway,
I mean, it doesn't have to be official. We like good people. So if you're a good person, come hang out with us.
Yeah, that would be super cool. Anybody that wants to join. So, next week, guys, we got a lot to cover. And sorry if we didn't get all the stuff in that we promised. This week was just full. So anyway, we'll get to it next week, and we look forward to talking to you guys then. Y'all have a good week.